Hi, my name is Eric DeVries, dental CPA and the founder of ForSaleByDentist.com. So in this video, we're going to talk about you've received the packet of information from the seller, you've looked at the cash flow, it makes sense. Now we've got to kind of take that deeper dive into the financial statements and the profit and loss, which is a scary place if you're not savvy with the business side of things. So I recommend working with somebody that you trust that can kind of explain things through that. I'm going to try to keep this relatively short and digestible, so buckle up and we're going to go a little quick. So here we go. So the first thing you're going to want to look at is profit or EBITDA. This is the fruit of the tree. Remember, we've got two ways to pay the doctor, chair side and profit. We're looking at the profit piece now on the P&L. Getting all the way down to the finish line, we're looking for something around 15 to 20% EBITDA. We can do deals anywhere in between, but those are starting to affect the purchase price. We call things like a premium or a discount. There's a rule of thumb where, this is where it makes sense for your lion's share of deals. If you go north of 20% EBITDA, you're probably going to pay a premium. You're going to go on the higher side. If you're less than 10 or 12% EBITDA, that's a discount because now you've got to fix things, right, from the cash flow, because this is the fruit. This is why you're buying it, because otherwise it's just a job, right? And why would you pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for a job, which you probably already have a job right now? Right? So it's the fruit that we're looking for and the growth opportunity. So again, 15, 20%. Okay, so now let's work backwards from that. How do we get there? There's a few buckets in there. The biggest one is payroll. And inside of payroll is for a GP, is assistants, hygiene, and then admin, which is your front desk and your support team or whatever. Those three, not associates or the doctor, that's different. So just those three, but you include taxes, uniforms, retirement, health insurance. That's all in there. We want that to be somewhere around 25%. We can go up to 30%, but 25% is where we'd like to see that. Ideally 20%. And that starts to get really tough if you're a PPO provider, because you start to take those haircuts that can be up to 40 to 50% of your standard fees, which reduces the top line, which increases the expenses. So in our heavy PPOs, you could have payroll 35%, which really crushes the bottom line. So we have to pay attention to that. So we're talking about payroll right now. We'd like to see somewhere around 25%. We could go up to 30%. 20% would be amazing, premium territory. Above 30 is discount territory. And payroll is the hardest one to fix. If you've got a 35% payroll, that's a problem. And that happens a lot when the doctors kind of relax a little bit, the legacies, and they don't want to disrupt their team, so they overpay perhaps. They want to reward their staff. They've already made their money, so now they pay it to the team because they don't want to train anybody over again. But when the new person comes on, they've got this bloated payroll, and if you try to make changes to that, now you're the bad guy or girl or gal. So it's difficult. So if you've got a high payroll, we want to know that up front and try to figure out what's going on. Inside of payroll, you want to get the names, the position, and the rates. Hygiene's going bonkers right now. There's over $50 an hour in New York. It's up to $44 here in Florida. It used to be 30. It used to be, about 30. So you want to see what their pay rates are. And we've seen this before too. This is a one-off, but we had a deal go through. They had all the pay rates, and the doctor gave the whole team pay raises before the purchase took place. Wow. So you want to be careful on what the payroll is. You want about 25%, give or take, and that's what we'll leave it there for that. The next bucket then would be your admin, your overhead, as people call it. Labs, supplies, advertising, facilities, and then what's ever left. Those are all in buckets. That group should be somewhere around 25 to 30% as well, with varying things in there. Like, it depends. If you're doing implants or so on, your labs might be higher, right? Your labs could be 9 or 10%. If you're just doing restorative, crown and bridge, it could be 6 or 7% if you're trying to discount the labs that you use. If you just want to use like Bonadet or name brands, it could be 12 or 15. So it just depends. But labs in general, 7 to 9%. Supplies about 5%. Advertising, you don't do advertising if you're PPO because you're already taking that haircut, but fee for service about 5%, facilities about 5%. You add all those up, 25 to 30%. If it's above or below that, discount premium, okay? And then the last big bucket would be the doctor's pay, which we usually use 30% of adjusted production to pay the doctors. That would be you or an associate if it was a large enough office. So if you look at that on the high side, remember payroll, 30%, right? Let's go the high side first. 30%, we do the doctor, which is you, 30%, and then we do that big bucket of all those other ones I talked about, 30%, 30, 60, 90, that gives you 10% profit. Remember we said 10% is kind of the low end of where we wanted to go, 30, 30, 30, 10. And if the higher side would be 20%, which is where you want to go, that would be 25% payroll, remember, and then 30% for you, and then 25% for those other buckets in there of varying degrees, and that would get you to 20%. So you can kind of see the mechanics and how all that plays out. You want to look in there because all of them aren't the same. If you had 12% in supplies for whatever reason, that would be great because then you could probably come in there and make that more efficient. Labs, supplies. You want to look at rent too because some doctors own the building and the rent doesn't come through, so it looks like they've got this great profit, and then the practice profile didn't make an adjustment for the rent. So you gotta pay attention to that too. Not getting into the weeds here, but this video is the basics of the profit side in the financials. You should probably have somebody help you with this. Those are rules of thumb: 10 to 20% EBITDA, premiums, discounts, and not all expenses are the same. They're different values. Hopefully that's helpful. As always, I'm here to help. You can click below. You can contact me directly, and happy to help. Good luck. We'll do a next video with a little bit more detail on the same one.